I am really mad at Lave Radio.
Why? What did Lave Radio do?
They didn't have a show this week. So
That's
what
what
are
they
we going to
didn't do.
talk about?
So true.
Why are we having a show then?
No content. They didn't have a show.
Well, that falls right in line with everything English we know, right? Any random holiday, and you take as much time off as possible. The holiday was Sunday, so they took Tuesday off. That makes sense.
It's a whole Easter week, right?
Yeah, Easter month, I guess. I don't know.
Easter's the holiday, right?
Easter is a holiday. Zombie Jesus Day. This year, big Stoner Blazer Day, I guess.
Yeah.
My favorite meme from that was Blaze It and Praise It.
Blaze it and praise it.
It gave me giggle fits the whole Sunday long. And my wife was like, "Can you stop?"
Oh my God. Then she upped your meds and you giggled harder. Perfect.
Yeah, basically. But that aside, it is the 281st episode for the
289th. Oh, I'm early. Sorry.
No, yeah, sorry. No, we don't tell people about the time travel, Chig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a whole meeting about that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyways, 281st episode for the 24th of April, 2025.
3311. Yeah, there you are, Barmore, right on time.
It's the loosest podcast. I'm stopping it there because I know that's going to piss somebody off.
How much do you want to bet he removes that and puts it in himself?
100%. And there was definitely a fade out already in there. But go ahead, let's do this.
There was.
Let's do this.
Exactly why I ended it early, just because it's going to hack someone else.
Well, that made me angry.
I'm Commander Lark Shadow, and I am joined tonight by the illustrious Commander Chig.
Illustrious? I can't.
Illustrious.
You gotta call me something I can spell. Spell. Something I can spell. Good God, we're off to a good start.
I'm joined by the Lindberger Commander Chig.
That's even worse.
I'm not sure I can spell that.
Yeah.
Is there a
You
D
can smell
in
it.
there?
You can smell it though.
I can definitely smell it.
The other adjectives, Commander Baromir.
Yeah, that's me. Voluptuous, I think.
Voluptuous, yeah, the voluptuous Commander Baromir.
Voluptuous?
Yeah.
And the random verbs, Commander Oblivious.
Yeah, you better get out there and buy those Cobras, guys, before the tariffs kick in.
I'm laughing and crying for the record. But first things first, we are going to go around and see how everyone's week was, because we know someone out there hates it, and we are just that big of gremlins. So, Chig, how's your week?
Good. Nobody tried to kill me. I put that bounty on myself, and not a single person tried to kill me all week.
I was busy.
It's kind of sad by that. Especially this was really your best chance to do it this week, because I went mining all week. I was in Type 8 like all week, and I would just be parked in the ring and go make dinner, and I was defenseless. It would have been an easy billion for people, but nobody came after me. Volt did take a good shot at Trax last night. I actually dropped Trax's shields before Trax knew he was even being attacked. And then Trax, I believe, proceeded to murder him, then give him 1 billion credits. So a nice job, Volt. At least somebody's trying to cut on this stuff. But I just want to say real quick, the Type 8 flies like a goddamn turd. I built it for core mining and thought, it was fun. And I flew it, pretty much for a week straight here in this game. You guys know when I'm playing a lot. So there was a lot of flying on that. I got the Elite 5 in trade. So I mined almost 1 billion in credits in the week there. And after flying the Type 8, I think I would probably go back to my Python 1 for mining, or actually build out a beak and try that, because the Type 8 is not as nice as I thought it was going to be for mining. And it's really picky about the speed you're moving, the angle of your ship when you're releasing prospector limpets and stuff. It's just finicky. I'm not a fan of the Type 8. I'll just tell you that. I like the look, don't like the ship.
And I like the visual in my head that somewhere Volt is probably in the store with his headphones in, listening to the podcast, and is now just standing in the middle of the aisle by the cereal, screaming to the void.
Well, now his management knows that he's listening to the podcast. Obviously, his management is also, listening. So.
Right.
Are they now screaming into the void? How many people screaming into it before it's no longer a void is my real question.
Probably because it echoes. You can make funny noise.
You mentioned the Cobra 5 and stuff. I went out and bought one this morning because that's the only one that I didn't buy with ARCs. And flying that after flying the Type 8, I really realized how shitty the Type 8 was. Because
100%.
the Cobra that thing is that is an amazing little ship. I slapped one together. Well, I didn't really slap it together. I did it the long, hard way. I built it, flew to every engineer with all new modules to get all the experimentals, all the engineering done. Then I went and I had a medium conflict zone and just mopped up with that little thing. It's impressive. So there's my endorsement for the Cobra.
Great little ship. It really is.
Yeah, it's not a small ship. It punches way above its weight. But that's me. I got nothing in real life. I just do the same shit all the time in real life. Let's see. No, my daughter had to do the ice bucket challenge. That thing is apparently going around again.
Did you record it?
I guess it's going. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And I mean, she starts doing her thing. So I dump part of the bucket on her back in the middle, then a little bit more. So she was already freezing before I dumped the whole thing on her head. It worked out kind of nice. So.
Nice.
But other than that, yeah, it's just work and stuff. So let me see who's next. Disco Board here. Oh, that's not a real person. Bear. I can't talk at all. I'm gonna go quiet now. Bear, you're next.
Okay. Real life. What do I have going on in real life? Work's been crazy still. Enough about that. Speaking of tariffs, last week I was talking to somebody about tariffs and how it might affect supply chains. And what I'd like to do right now is take just a few minutes and just talk about the macroeconomics of this whole thing. Well,
what the hell are you doing? Stop.
Weird.
Stop.
No, but what I did decide is to go buy a car. So that's what I've been bothering myself with over the last week. My excuse was maybe I'll beat like a price hike or something like that. It was all a dumb excuse to go buy a car, and I did that. And now I have a new car. But I kind of swapped them out, and man, it is nice. Just driving around for no reason, just enjoying the road, guys. I really don't have a whole lot going on.
Did you not have a car before?
Oh no, I had a car. It was a different car.
Okay, I was insane.
You should tell us where that Tesla's parked so we can go scratch your names in it.
Listen, the deals you get on Teslas right now, boys. I'll tell you what.
Scratch and dent sale.
You get them dirt cheap.
Partially charred.
But no, I bothered myself with that this week. That pretty much consumed most of my time. Otherwise, I've been in Elite. I've been flying the Corsair around some more. Been doing a lot more combat than I would normally do in a couple of our PowerPlay reinforcement systems. Been switching it up with a little bit of core mining, and I'll tell you right now, Jake, I go right back to the Python Mark 1. Do we have to call it the Mark 1?
Python Classic.
Just the Python.
Python, okay. Python.
Yeah, I just go to
Python.
I
go back to the Python for core mining all day. It's a wonderful core miner.
And that was my main core miner forever.
Yeah, I've got it all. It's bright yellow. It's got stupid, a little kit on it. I call it my Union miner. It's great. We're just out there doing stuff. So switching up between combat and that, and I'm still trying to figure out ways to maximize my Corsair build. We might get into that a little bit more later, but really considering throwing out a turreted like burst or pulse on the bottom of the Corsair. Kind because otherwise, if I have if I'm going up against like a ship launch fighter, even like an Eagle or something like that, it's just a nuisance in the Corsair. Just a nuisance.
Reverse key.
So why not? Yeah, why not just well, reverse key, of course, but why not just have a little something just poking them the whole time? Maybe they'll run away, do something stupid, and then I can catch them off guard. Well, yeah, that's been.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's been my week. That's what I got. Oblivious. What's going on with you, bud?
Oh no, I forgot. Wait a minute. Let me look at my Doge 5 things list. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I went to last week. Went to a dog show down in Middle Georgia. Big dog show because it's
fun.
time to get a dog back in my life, and so
yes,
met with a bunch of handlers and breeders, and got some good input on some other breeders. I'm going to start reaching out to them, and hopefully we'll have a pup here in next 4 to 6 months. That was fun.
Nice.
And let's see, in game, been out of game for almost 2 weeks. There's been a lot of traveling, that dog show being one up part of it. So I finally got to really get in the seat and fly the Corsair. Did the plasma railgun setup in it, and now I've got a couple hours under my belt in it, and I'm enjoying. I don't like the cockpit. I never liked the iCourier cockpit. I just wish that forward ring, I could get rid of that forward ring and it would be fine. It just, I'm starting to get used to it and having a lot of fun with it. Dropped in on Impromptu meetup with our fellow commanders, and had a lot of fun with those rails and plasma. So enjoying it.
Very nice.
Oh,
lady. I
about
suppose
you,
that'd
Lark?
be my turn to go. Yeah. Not a whole
Right
lot's
up
been
each
happening. I have some pretty major like life stuff in the fire right now as far as things going on in my life, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it. And it's just, I'm just exhausted because of it, because it's just so much to deal with. And those of you who know, you know. And in game, in the few times I actually got to play, have been running around doing PowerPlay in my Corsair and just freaking loving it, refining exactly how I want that build to be on the ship. Haven't quite landed on anything set in stone yet, except for the short range large cannons on it, because those are freaking hilarious. I have popped so many small ships that still have like 50% hull left, and it's just funny every single time. All right, and that's really been it. I saw everyone was online the other day, but I couldn't get online to join you, or I would have. So let us move on to the squadron update.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
And someone take it away. I'm eating.
I've got it, and the BGS is still broke. And that's all there is. All the details can be found in the standing orders and or in the loose through section. No, I'm sorry. I'll go into a little more detail.
You don't have to.
So we may or may not have a control war started again in Miola. We got there by applying some ancient parliamentary procedure, which means just keep throwing bounties at it until something happens. And it did. We were back into war with abbreviation PPMC, going after Harris Hospital. Again, there's a particular commander out there that's fond of Harris Hospital. And we did go through this war with Miola before, and we won with the PPMC, but the Broken Game Simulator did not give us Harris Hospital, and for some reason, we're going to practice insanity and try it again. So we just keep doing it over and over until we get a different result, I think.
That's okay.
Here.
It's a hospital, so we're in the right place if it is insanity. So
if you want to help out the doc, go shoot PPMC in the CZs in Miola. Just make sure that you're in the right CZ, because there's CZs for the Blood Brothers. It's been running for about 4.5 weeks, and it's a phantom CZ because there's no mention of it anywhere in the game interfaces. They just appear there in this broken simulator, game simulator. The election in LTT 10-482, we want to win. We might win. If we win, we maybe won't. I know we're up 2-0 there. Also, we're up 1-0 in Miola. I forgot to mention that. Tripu is in retreat. We do have the numbers up high enough to bring it out of retreat. Yep, that's what I call it here in the South. And hopefully the poo will come out of retreat at the end of the cycle, which I think it's on day 3 right now. Those are the priorities. And yeah, the rest of the details on this broke-ass game simulator BGS can be found in the standing orders.
Well, let me ask some questions here just real quick. You say, the whole system's broken, and BGS has always been kind of, we used to have a pretty good idea of what was happening, and now you say it's broken. You're deep into it, but I mean, it's like seriously broken. Like you said, these CZs pop up that aren't even related to any wars or anything, right? And then ticks are taking days and
no, actually, the ticks
or what?
Actually, the ticks are running very consistent. And when I first started, the ticks were around hitting around 5:30 Central Time, pretty religiously, and then they very slowly moved later and later and later and later and later and later. Well, now they're back to that 5:30 cycle, and they're hitting pretty consistently.
Is the ticks are hitting, so some things are changing, but wars aren't updating, are they, or are they now?
No, yeah. So that's the thing. The ticks collected, but all the state changes and the influence updates, and I already mentioned the states may or may not update, and may or may not update for days. For instance, we've got a system that's been preparing for war for 4 days. Not just one tick cycle.
War by the time
it's been preparing for tick cycles. And that's the other crazy thing about it. It's even inconsistent among systems. Some systems, it'll operate just the way we were used to seeing BGS operate. In other systems, like Miola, is just now has a mind of its own. So yeah, it's
the spaghetti code is becoming aware.
Right. Yes.
Well, I mean, the way that I always understood it is, that was a big part of waiting for the tick is to see the update on the status of the wars. So what actually gets updated, if that's not getting updated, what is actually getting updated with the ticks?
The wars may or may not update. So, for instance, the war in Miola on the tick, it is updating. At least it's updating in the system news. I can go and see that the screws have won for 2 days straight. But for whatever reason, it's not putting the correct information into the logs, because if you go take a look at Anara, it doesn't get updated in Anara. If you go and take a look at the war on the left-hand nav panel, under the system update, the little icon that's all the way to the left, it doesn't even indicate there's any wars going on in the system at all. It's server A isn't talking to server B that should be talking to server Y, every other Tuesday, but every once in a while they will communicate, and then something will look great for a day, and then the next day you're back into trying to sleuth out just really what's going on within the systems.
I'm sorry,
That
but I
is
find that completely
exciting.
hilarious.
I just feel bad for people that, that was their game loop, and that's why they played the game, is to monitor all this stuff. And now it's just kind of in some weird limbo where you don't know what the hell it's doing.
I agree
still
with
think
you.
it-
In the same breath, I take Daxie's side and say to those people, come play PowerPlay. We're having a blast.
But I'm convinced that it's affecting PowerPlay in some ways as well, because it's the background simulation is so deep in the spaghetti of this game. They said everything you do there affects everything else. Well, if that's not working the way you expect it, then how does anything else downstream of that give you consistent, correct results? I don't know.
Exactly. And especially PowerPlay still has things that haven't been turned back on, and they haven't given any indication that they're even, considering turning things back on.
Right.
So
Right.
We still don't
I
have
don't know.
functioning power CZs in North America. It's infuriating.
Yeah, that's been from day one, right?
Literally from November.
No, it's a long-standing issue that Americans
A new
can't build.
voice.
Welcome, Hate.
Americans can't build any kind of multiplayer scenario with Europeans. That bug, that bug is long-standing. We've been complaining about it for years under a different name. And it's probably related to the fighters scrambling group events.
Well, it's not even just that, Hate. It's if you're in open in North America and you try to start a power CZ, it just won't.
Nobody
it won't
spawns.
spawn any. Yeah, that's it.
But it's isolated to North America.
Definitely.
It seems to be
Because
Maybe Oceania. But
I put on a VPN and connected to South America and was able to run them in open and get other North America and pull other North Americans in as long as I had the instance.
Yep.
Help us, David Braben. You're our only hope.
We need a Braben VPN tunnel.
Right. Oh, shoot. Well, that's the Broken Game Simulator update. Let us roll right into asking Hate how his week was, because he just snuck in here and you're not going to get away with that.
Hey.
oh boy. Oh god. Guys. Wow.
Wow.
I complained about this in the Spirits channel yesterday or whatever. I went to town over to a different chain of liquor stores, and they had some crazy. There was a half gallon of Buffalo Trace where people could just walk in and pick it up. It wasn't behind the counter or in a case or anything. It was just out there. And I'm like, other people have this locked in a room, not even visible. And you guys just have it on the display. And then Hard Truth, that company, the local distillery that I'm advertising to everybody because I want to sell a local product. They had Barrel Select where they had their rye whiskey from a cognac barrel or a wine barrel or some other kind of barrel. And I'm like, and $100 bottle of whiskey sounded really good. Because I know I like Hard Truth. I don't know that I like rye. I haven't had a chance to try a rye whiskey, but if I'm gonna try some, it's gonna be from this company because I know they make quality whiskey. And one
That's
town
great.
over, and mind you, it's the liquor store I was at was twice the distance from the distillery as where I work, and they had more product further away. This is obviously my buyer not buying the things, or the owner just not giving them permission to buy the things, when the master distiller will come into our store and sign the bottles. Which, that's tight as fuck. Man, I had something else I wanted to talk about. The Type 9 sucks.
Yeah.
I already
Straight
said
up.
the Type 8 sucks, so might as well work our way up the list and down the list.
My job's boring.
Wait,
As
we've
I'm
gone from
sure-
Type 9
I'm
to
sure-
boring job. Wait, let's go
Yeah,
back to the
They're
Type
all
9.
over the place, buddy.
Where's the
Right.
Type
I'm
9
like-
truck?
I know all of us can agree that there's like boring days, but man, it's like every day I'm just so understimulated. So I'll play
Drink
fucking
more
Elite
whiskey.
Dangerous for hours. I mean, I had Baccarat, Woodford Reserve Baccarat edition. That's tasty. And
Nice.
you know, like sure, there's got to be something that can make either my job less terrible, other than drinking there. You know, 'cause that's
a
not an
Steam Deck
appropriate
playing
or
Elite.
professional. Well, like, I would have to play something I can pause regularly, which you know a lot of single player games would. But like, yeah, how long am I going to get away with that? You know, how many times can I wash the clean windows? You know, how often can I just pull one bottle forward to the front of the shelf, or put 3 cans into the singles rack in the cooler before it's obvious that I'm trying hard not to just pick my nose and start snoring.
You get to figure out. You get to figure out how to deliver Buffalo Trace in a Type 9.
Tons and tons of it. Amen.
Nice.
Start a little mini liquor store trade war. Yeah.
I got a lot of complaints, but I think my children are growing. They're happy. They're bouncing. Both of them are shining examples of superior intellect, and they're very
Nice.
good kids. You know, I do have that blessing, and I think we need to move on before I bring this down more.
Yeah.
All
Your
right,
number
well,
is
speaking
down.
of liquor,
I
let's roll
think you
into-
ended with some good priorities. Very good.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of liquor, let's roll into a PowerPlay update. Baramir, if you would.
This is the short PP report.
Target shields offline. Target destroyed.
It's average, so get your facts straight.
Every time.
Oh,
You can go
right.
every time. I am such a child. Carry on.
it's good. It's great. We'll do it live. In first place, we have Aisling Duval, folks, with, she's in first, and she has 98 strongholds. By the way, I'm using Nicey's leaderboard stuff, guys. This website is great. It's getting better. For sure, give us feedback if you like it, but I really like this site. Check out the link in the show notes if you want to see it for yourself. You can bookmark it. It's really wonderful. So first place, Aisling Duval, with nearly 2,000 points, 98 strongholds. And that's the system we've got. In next place, we have Arissa Lavigne Duval, the Empress herself, with actually 106 strongholds, but a little bit lower on the exploited system side, nearly 100 less exploited systems. So it kind of evens out on this leaderboard that we're using today. See, Edmund Mahon is third place. With 67 strongholds. So, pick it up, fellas. Yeah, you thought you're in first place. If you're FDev, you're listing them as first place. They're not. They're not doing great. All right, they're just arguing, or they're trying to make decisions. It's no good. Yuri Grom is in fourth place with 51 strongholds, up actually 18 points from last week. So that's kind of a big jump, maybe the biggest of the week as far as the leaderboard is concerned. After that, in fifth place, we have Lee Young Rui. Who we hang out with sometimes, do some beer bonging and stuff like that. I don't know. That's what we do. 13 points up this week. Fifth place with 93 strongholds. Killing it. By the way, we're working on our own Lee Young Rui stronghold in our neck of the woods. We'll talk about that a little bit later. In sixth place, we have Jerome Archer. And that's enough. And then in seventh place, we have Pranav Altal. Yeah, he's doing things, doing things there. We've got 49 strongholds. So keeping it up 4 points last week. So they're getting to move on. They're doing all right. Our neighbors to the south-ish, I guess, whatever. And then we have Nakado Kane in 8th place. Nakado Kane has 44 strongholds. They got 8 additional points this week to round us off right around 918 points. So we're moving right along. With Denton Petraeus in 9th place with 35 strongholds.
Is that still down points again for him?
You know, I think in this leaderboard, he is staying put. In
Got
the official leaderboards, the FDev leaderboards, Kane took him, and so did Archon Delane.
Oof.
And yeah, he's just that was last week though. That wasn't this week thing. That was a last week thing. But still, it's embarrassing. You know, I mean, it's just wow, embarrassing. And speaking of the devil himself, the Spider King, Archon Delane is rounding us off in 10th place, up 4 points, 34 strongholds. I don't think there's much of a goal-oriented spirit in the Delane faction. I think they're just out to do the thing, do the chaos, and God bless. God bless. See you guys on the battlefield, hopefully.
Yeah, I've looked in the Delane Discord before. Those guys are literally just out there having fun, and more power to them. Carry on.
Yeah, that sounds great. In 11th place, we have Felicia Winters, up 5 points this week with 47 strongholds. And last, but definitely least, is Zamina Torval, 33 strongholds, but actually 16 points increase this week, which is just under Grom. So, hey, this was a good week for Zamina. The official leaderboards look about the same, so we won't go through that. Let's talk a little bit about what we have going on here in our neck of the woods. Yeah, absolutely.
Just one sec. Just on the leader, did we explain why we're using? And is it Nicey, Nice? I thought it was Nice. We're
going with Nice.
Nikki, Bob, George, Susie, something like that. But we're using this leaderboard. Have we talked about any reason why ours is different or not? Have we explained? I mean, because
last week we mentioned it, but I think it's worth discussing again.
Yeah, I mean, because what she did, or he, it's a she, right?
It's a person. She. You could.
It's a person. I don't want to use that pronoun and be thrown off the internet. So, the leaderboard, I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow in the Discord. Instead of just the inboard leaderboard is just absolutely asinine because it just is the number of systems they control. Period. And this leaderboard goes into and weights it depending on, whether it's fortified or stronghold and things like that. So there's just a lot more thought put into it. And it's based off of kind of a Formula One type leaderboard, where you can see people gaining or falling behind and where it all falls into place. Because we had a whole F1 discussion pop into the Discord today, which I fully support because I follow F1 very closely. So let's talk about that anytime. But yeah, that's the leaderboard that we have. And hopefully, if we keep talking about it, one of our other 3 listeners, starts spreading the word on this, and this can take off a little bit, and we can have an actual leaderboard because this is the best system I've seen for trying to, show actually what these powers are doing. Rather than just
it weights
systems.
You're right. It weights exploited, fortified, and stronghold systems together. In kind of increasing point range, we kind of add them all up, and there's our index right there. We have our point system from there. Yeah, I think it works really well. So not only do we have a point system, we also see the systems controlled right next to it, and they're all kind of just nicely etched together. Hats off to Nicey for this tool. Yeah, I think it's going to catch on. Because, like you said, the FDev leaderboard is just so, I don't even know.
It's just pointless.
It doesn't tell you anything, really.
No, literally nothing.
Because if you looked at that leaderboard, you would think that Eben Mahan is still very much active. And they have a big, Discord and a big community. Don't get me wrong. For the folks out there supporting Mahan, it's not a small community. You guys are certainly having an impact. But we see these, and we were tracking these huge conflicts for a couple of weeks. And if I could ever just stop flying the Corsair and sit down and actually track conflicts again, we always see Aisling Duval, we always see Rissa, Livini Duval. Sometimes we see Grom and even Antal pop up in these huge conflicts. Obviously, we see Archer all over the place. We don't see my home, ever. So you can put all those things together. It makes sense that Aisling and Arissa are on top. They're very active communities. So, yeah, absolutely.
Outstanding.
Well, how about a peek into what we have going on in our neck of the woods? It's going to be a bit of a continuation. This is cycle 25 starting today. Well, yesterday, since you're listening to this in the future. Oh my God. Okay. So we're still going to try and acquire Wolf 10. That hasn't stopped yet. So if you guys are out there, go ahead and continue to try and acquire Wolf 10. I don't think we're going to be that successful up until we get our new favorite system, NLTT 2969, into a stronghold state. Nice. Into a stronghold state. It's currently fortified. We did a ton of work last week. I think we got it like an additional 20-ish, 25% of the way to a stronghold system. And once we have that stronghold, we're going to be able to acquire a whole mess of systems with what? With core mining. That's right. You're going to take your Type 8 out.
Great.
You do the thing. And we're going to do a lot of acquisition that way. And there hopefully will be some combat because eventually someone's going to get ticked off and try to fight us off. And then we're going to get conflict zones which we won't be able to enter. But, we'll have them. And as always, our folks, our friends from just beyond ADI, we're still going to help them out and reinforce Tamor. So spend some time in there as well. And if you want to learn more, drop into the PowerPlay Hub channel. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, I've got the whole thing for Cycle 25 up there. If not, just look at Cycle 24. It's the same. You'll be fine. And that's all I got for this week. Questions from the Peanut Gallery? Chig?
I fell asleep for a sec. What?
So I actually want to point something out for everyone out there who has not been hunting Chig yet. I logged in and I was able to find him and am sitting hidden outside the station he's in for like the last 10 minutes or so. So y'all want to get him, get out there and get him. Otherwise, I'm going to get him because I'm here in my freaking hunting ship.
Oh, I'm definitely flying out of the station now.
He bought his asp again.
It's my asp scout.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. And we're now back to 0 days since the last time Lark mentioned his asp.
It's going to stay that way. Asp scout rocks. Anyways, moving on. Speaking of things that rock, moving on to the Galnet update. The Cobra 5 is now available for credits. Thurston Ring in the comment system is running a special on them apparently, and and who has the CG news? Because I didn't even get a chance to participate in that.
It's over.
And there's your CG news.
It finished.
Go
collect your rewards.
Go pick up your stuff in the Dawn system.
Yep.
They got to tier 6, so the rewards were plentiful. I think there were nearly 600 billion credits worth of bounties collected in that system over 2 weeks. Not bad, friendos. Not bad at all. And go get your long range and fast scan A and C rated kill warrant scanner.
That is a surprising amount of bounties, given you only had to kill one ship in order to collect the rewards.
Absolutely.
Oh, you freaking FA off people. I hate fighting you guys. And so it's like, oh, look how fast I can orbit. Oh, look at the orbit lines. Oh, I'm so fancy. Oh, you know what you're doing by orbiting? All you're doing is making just stopping and firing at each other more complicated.
Oh, that's kind of the point
of surviving combat, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The point.
Also, I don't have FA off right now, and the Asp Scout is still quick enough on the thrusters to orbit at the same speed on you, and I love that.
You keep telling yourself that.
Right, guys.
I've got go ahead.
I got it off the show notes that we don't have entry. Corsair conversation. Question for you guys. So, Adaxius BFF Forever Meccan has put out a little quick YouTube video. It's titled "The Real Reason the Corsair Runs Hot." And also parentheses, please read the correction as well in parentheses. So,
is that reason that it's just so sexy?
They're
if it's not, I don't know if I
claiming
want to hear it.
they're claiming that there's some stats that were just more or less cut and paste from iCourier to the Corsair. So for instance, your armor weight for the Corsair is 63, where the iCourier it's 8. But the mass lock factor for both the Corsair and the iCourier are the same at 7. And the heat capacity for both of them is the same at 230. Now, so my first question, I've only got about 5 hours under my belt with the Corsair. I don't think I've been in any situation where I was getting mass locked that I noticed. And I'm not finding heat management that big of a problem. Are you guys?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
I've got 6 plasma accelerators on my Corsair, and the only time I was overheating was when I had all 6 of them focused, grade 5 focused. Yeah, I overheated then. Otherwise, no. Totally manageable, fantastically cool ship.
Yeah, I'm running prismatics and all the stuff associated with that on mine, and I can still get right up against the exclusion zone of the star, and it won't overheat. Stupid.
So maybe where they're coming from is they're trying to do AX builds and stay below the 20% and having some difficulty doing it. Maybe that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, I haven't gone out AX hunting with it yet. I haven't built an AX version of it. I'm dying to, but I'm on a couple other little in-game missions right now, so I haven't gotten around to that. So I wouldn't know. My guess is, there's possibly some issues with AX, but I don't know. I'm firing plasmas and heating up on purpose, and
it's going to be hot anyways. So
yeah, so I haven't noticed. I feel the thing runs beautifully cool, handles heat very well, but what the hell do I know? I have only
take a look at that.
3 hours in the game.
Go do an AX build and see what it looks like. That's and now that I think about it, that's probably what he's talking about. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh, right. And in dev news, not only is the Cobra Mark V available, but its paint jobs have 30% off right now for the Midnight Black and Chrome, which I've been told look really good on that chip. I haven't had a chance to get back in it yet and check. At the same time, or in other dev news, I should say, FDev, and I heard about this on Lave Radio actually, they collaborated with the London Science Museum for a curated tour of the solar system using Elite Dangerous. And in our show notes is a link to space.com as well as the YouTube video that shows them going along in Elite and teaching and showing people the solar system. And I think that's fantastic.
Hey, just a quick clarification. Just a quick clarification on the store. Actually, the sale is still generally going on, folks. So if you remember, we talked about the sale last week. A bunch of stuff in the store are on sale. It includes the Cobra 5 paint jobs as well.
Oh, okay.
The gold and chrome are not on sale though, for whatever reason. But it's a bunch of stuff still. So get in there, spend those arcs, and maybe we'll get some bug fixed. Yeah. Fix some bugs. Buy some arcs.
Arcs for pillows.
Arcs
I'm
for
still on
pillows.
Alrighty. And let me see. And the discussion this week, someone put in there missiles and mine engineering as a potential topic. I've engineered missiles extensively as well as mines. How about anyone else?
I like
Little
Pat
missiles.
even though they're useless.
I also like backhounds.
They're pretty.
They are pretty, yes. You won't kill them as fast, but you'll look good doing it.
You want to fire missiles at mimes?
Yes.
There's no,
Yes,
there's no
yes, I
sound
do.
in space, so that makes sense.
The real trick with pack hounds is using them as cover fire for,
For the bigger
more
missiles.
damaging.
Yes.
Yeah, or torpedoes.
Mhm.
I have a torpedo build. It's torpedoes and pacifiers with the
Nice.
cascading reverberation or whatever that destroys shield generators on the torpedoes.
Very nice.
It can take out.
I thought the purpose of pack cones was to test people's frame rates.
Frame rates.
I mean, it depends how many Tac 9s you had hammering on them, or 10s or whatever.
It's Type 10s, and yeah, he fired so many freaking pack hounds that for a hot minute, I swear my Viper Mark IV thought I was entering the atmosphere of a planet.
I presume that was on your old graphics card, not your new one.
Yes, correct.
I don't think your new one's going to have anywhere near that kind
No,
of.
I won't have trouble. I won't. A lot of pack outs, though. I'm just saying. But as far as engineering them, sorry, go ahead. Hey.
No, you go ahead.
As far as engineering them, there are some choices you can do with missiles, but generally, and even the anti-meta guy will accept that this is really the only useful way to engineer missiles is high capacity, so you have more of them, and oversized or overloaded, so you can take out their modules or do even more hull damage when they hit. One of the two. That's basically all I run on all of my missiles.
Thermal Cascade has a bug. The description in game is it converts 50% of the damage to heat. So it remains at 100% damage, right? That's the math. That's not how it works. It just adds 50% of the base damage as heat.
That makes sense.
Which is a 50% gain in lieu of oversized, which I believe is 15.
Oversized.
Thermal Cascade is the only option in lieu of drag.
Drag is great. So we've got the choices on the primary engineering: high capacity, lightweight, rapid fire, and sturdy. Does anybody actually use lightweight and sturdy for anything?
So I have used sturdy in the past. It was experimenting with a shieldless build because I didn't want enemies to be able to just snipe out my weapons at will.
Okay.
Outside of that, I can't find the use.
That's fair.
You ran into people that were sniping your weapons.
NPCs. They do that all the time.
Well, especially the the advanced response ATR.
Yes.
It's the police.
I don't know how they have their stuff engineered, but holy crap. Also, I'm fighting Chig right now, so if I sound distracted...
Wow, this is fighting?
I also hate that you can go in reverse so fast.
This is lovely.
Sorry.
Yeah, so high capacity, we've got a grade 5 high capacity. We're going to get 100% clip size and 100% ammo capacity, so 2x what you can hold and how quickly you can fire. And those will be available on Seekers, on fixed or dumbfire, and on pack hounds. So pack hounds just get real crazy with all that additional capacity. And honestly, it's really the only way to run pack hounds. I know we're saying that generally high capacity is the go-to. For me, that's just what makes sense for pack hounds. You're also getting a slightly higher rate of fire, but your mass is increased. You would think the mass would increase, identically with the amount of ammo you're adding on there, but it's not. It's only 60% at grade 5. So there's that. I think the real fun with missiles, though, as Hate was saying, are the experimentals that you can have a lot of fun with. Right? We just talked about Thermal cascade. So thermal cascade will do. So there's two. There's thermal cascade. I always get thermal cascade mixed up with is it overload munitions or emissive munitions? One of the two. Thermal cascade will increase the target's heat. There's that. That's kind of interesting. I do always enjoy, though, you mentioned it earlier. What was it? Drag? What is that?
Yeah.
Someone help me. Oh, FSD interrupt. So I'm thinking
Ground bombs.
ground bombs.
I have never had the chance to use those. I use mines for one thing and one thing only, and I engineer them for the oversized, or not for, yeah, for the oversized on both the special and the normal engineering. And then I put them on one of my Vipers and I use them to bomb settlements. And it is hilarious fun. Would recommend.
That's a good point. Mines have essentially the same engineering set of engineering tools on them as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So there's a couple of other ones. There's shift lock canister that calls all frame shift drives caught in the blast radius to reboot with the cost of reduced damage. That's interesting.
I've never tried that, but the problem is that's very powerful, but you have to have them hit the mine.
Yeah, also, I feel like mines are a little bit more defensive than they are offensive. But maybe I don't know how to use them correctly. That doesn't seem like something you would find useful, rebooting someone's FSD, unless they were going to follow you in a low wake, maybe. There's also reverberating cascade. That is different on mines, but overload shields on impact, directly damaging the shield generator. That could be useful. That's interesting.
It only takes 4 or 5 to break a class 7 shield generator.
Really?
Yeah.
And the likelihood that you're going to run into 4 or 5 is what?
Oh no, hold on.
Space.
I apologize. That also goes on torpedoes.
Oh.
Ooh. That's very different.
I never used torpedoes. Never once.
You only get you get like 1 or 2. You get like 1 per size, right? Let's talk about torpedoes too.
Yep.
I have used 2 class 3 torpedoes on a Vulture once, and I was able to delete a federal gunship in one volley, and it was freaking hilarious, and I've never been able to repeat it. But it happened, and I'm so happy with that.
The big issue for new players, and that also causes some intermediate players before they get to like fleet carrier status, is that each torpedo costs 10,000 credits.
Oh, sweet.
Jeez, those are
That is some lofty overhead if you don't have, pocket change buying stations out of product.
So one year builds, you're saying you've had torpedoes and you also use pack hounds, and what you're launching the pack hounds to turn disrupt. Oh, that's what, pacifiers? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was the torpedoes were to remove shields from hard targets, and then pacifiers to actually kill them.
Oof. That sounds deadly.
And as an alpha strike on an NPC, it wins.
That is fantastic. I love that. I also want to point out that Chig and I have been fighting this entire time we've been talking, and wow, the Cobra 5 is slippery.
That's what she said.
So if you're on the fence whether you even want to pick it up for credits, do go get it, because it is giving one of the most maneuverable ships in the game, my Asp Scout, a lot of trouble just because he is
you
so
got my down
fast.
to like 87%, I think, at one point.
Yeah, that was my cannons. They're long range, so I was hitting you way out there.
I've dropped your shields twice, I think.
Yeah, he's toying with me at this point. This is not going well for me.
What did you do with the thrusters? What have you got on there?
I've got dirties.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Scroll up in the outfitting channel. Hey, there's a whole thing where they converted me to dirties.
So the second time I've heard scroll up in real words, auditory scroll up.
Scroll up
It's a
and
beautiful
dirty.
thing. Let's check out. I want to see pack counts and see if they're any different when it comes to engineering. I don't think they are. I think the pack counts have essentially the same thing. Yeah, that's all the same.
Yeah, and another thing I want to mention with missiles is something that is great fun, and they hit really, really hard if you can land your shots, is using just dumbfire missile racks. And my shield's down again. Either the size 1 advanced dumbfire or the size 2 advanced dumbfire. And the reason for that is it still has the same souped up damage. In fact, it's a little more than the Seeker has. All you have to do is line it up and hit the shot. And if you do hit the shot, wow, do you get rewarded. Those things are secretly like a dark horse, really powerful weapon. You just got to be able to hit them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so just a quick comparison. The Seeker missile will do 40 damage per, with whatever other modifiers we want to talk about. Armor piercing at 60. Dumbfire will do slightly more, 50 damage per, same armor piercing.
Okay, this is going nowhere. I'm going back to the station. Carry on, Chase.
But the dumbfire actually travels a bit quicker than the Seeker, which is great because you have to kind of line that up yourself.
You do, and they actually function a lot like a short-range cannon would as far as lining them up, where as long as you are... sorry, I'm trying to turn and fire a chick at the same time. As long as you are either A, close enough, or B, you know they're going in a straight line, you're gonna hit it. You just gotta be relatively close to them to get that sure shot. It's not gonna be a long range thing where the missiles are flying forever unless you're shooting at a settlement to clear it out, which that works just as well as mines do, and it's very much easier to use. But I like using mines to clear settlements because it's just so dumb in the best way.
I have mines on my my PowerPlay calling type 9, and I don't know if I was hostile or if I had a bounty or something, but I landed at some settlement selling some goods, and as soon as I get close to it, they open up fire on me. You know what? I just couldn't deal with it. So I didn't land, but I did carpet bomb the entire settlement with mines.
Nice.
And that seemed to solve the issue immediately. So sorry, guys. Here's a bit of trivia for you. We've got shot speeds, guys. So if you're trying to get good with fixed weapons, which is the conversation of the last couple of weeks of the course there, we're off on some fixed weapons. If we're comfortable with fixed, right? It's ergonomically comfortable for us. Blah blah blah. I've been using plasma accelerators. We've said this many times. It's wonderful. I'm really getting used to them. The shot speed on a plasma accelerator is 875 meters per second. And it's, for me, starting to become a very, very reasonable weapon to start using. Once you get used to leading your targets, and I'm not landing every shot, but I'm having a good time with them. Seeker missiles.
Are you using leading or following radicals?
Ooh, great question. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say
probably leading because that's the default.
How dare you, Lark? How dare you? It's leading. I'm using leading. All right. I feel attacked.
Yeah, and if you're using fixed weapons, like I'm fine using leading personally. It doesn't really affect how I can sight down where I need to shoot too much. But if you're having trouble with fixed weapons, seriously switch that target reticle to following, because it makes a huge difference in helping your eye track where their ship is going, so you can line up that shot a lot easier.
Noted. Yeah,
a lot
I'm turning
of people
off.
learn that hunting bugs.
Yep.
Well, that makes sense because I was definitely using multi-cannons the whole time we were hunting bugs. I was that guy.
Also, everyone note, if you're going after Chig, he does have plasmas, so make sure you have a somewhat tanky ship. Which the
Yeah,
so-
one volley with
Probably
those
got-
drop your shields each time.
He's probably got rails too.
Yes.
Start sniping his modules.
Yeah, I'm running this Cobra with 3 plasmas in the 2s and 2 rails in the 1s.
Nice.
Oh.
I will say though, for as much as Chig is like, oh, cannons, I was hitting him way the frick out there because I've got long range cannons on this. I just had to line up the shot right, and I was getting him.
It was you were kind of tickling me a little bit. I'm just saying, you show up with an ASP scout, dude. Man,
Yeah, I deserve what I got.
I feel disrespected. I should have blown you up. What did I leave you at? Like 41%?
41% hull, yes.
Yeah,
He started landing
40%
my
power.
actual hull, and it was kind of ridiculous how fast it was getting me.
Yeah, if you'd have showed up with a real ship, no offense towards the ASP scout, but it's not a real ship.
Against the Cobra 5, that's a losing scenario for me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What I should have showed up in was my T10.
That would be fun. I would actually enjoy that fight, I think.
Go get
This
it.
ship punches above his weight for sure. I'd be curious how that would go.
Especially since I'm running turrets on it right now, so it doesn't matter where you are.
Oh,
I'll see how long it'll take me to take it to
I've
transfer.
got tricks for that.
I get tricks for that.
So you mentioned your cannons have long range on them. Long range also adds shot speed.
Yep.
Indeed.
And if you guys remember, about 10 minutes ago, I was talking about shot speed with some of these modules. So just to get back to it, the missile racks, the dumb fire missile racks, they actually travel at 750 meters per second, as opposed to the plasma accelerator, which just goes right 875 meters per second. What I'm trying to get at is, if you're comfortable using plasmas, the missiles aren't that slow compared. And when you think of missiles, you're thinking, damn, that's pretty slow. And meanwhile, your cannons, your size 2 fixed cannons are going 1,000 meters.
Yeah, they're getting there quick.
Yeah. So just throwing that all, and that's not with any engineering on them whatsoever. Now, what is very slow? Anybody want to take a guess? We were talking about
Torpedoes.
super slow shot speed, 250 meters per second. My Type 9 might outpace a torpedo.
We should science that sometime. I've got an engineered torpedo rack. I'm really curious now.
Strap a trebuchet to the top of your Type 9 and lob something with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. We should also throw on that.
Honestly,
that
though, think about
shield.
this. Okay, random science though. A trebuchet in space, you'd have to vector your ship the right way to get the gravity to get the trebuchet to fire, because it's it uses counterweight to fire a trebuchet. So in space, it would be hard unless you were vectoring your ship right and creating gravity, which then you'd have to aim accordingly. Now that's sciencing it. I say we do that.
Yeah, in space, your ship is the trebuchet. You just have long pylons, the big mine or bomb or whatever up top, and you just start spin to win, whichever direction you need to, and release at the right time.
Why not just make it turreted railgun?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of
nice.
I don't know if you space nerds ever watched The Expanse. But there's this great combat scene where the Rocinante, the ship in the that everyone's in, but was it a cruiser or a battleship, something like that, does this like spin move to try and add a bit of momentum to like a cannon fire that it has, or a plasma fire. It does it all the time. It's beautiful. Science
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a
hold on. Did someone just shoot
addiction to The Expanse? That show is so freaking good. I've watched it like
how many times have you watched it?
The first season at least 9 or 10 times now.
Yep. Watched it so many times.
Yeah,
it's so good. Apparently the books are good too. Do you guys read? Apparently the books are good.
Yeah, I the problem, I watched the series so many times that when I read the books, I didn't like what they did with the books, and that's
that's
the
funny.
source material. But you fall so much in love with the characters in the movie, and that's kind of like I'm one of these people that I don't like to mix my mediums. If there's a movie coming out for somebody, I don't want to go read the book first because the movie will never live up to it, or the series will never live up to it, and it kind of goes the other way too. They're their own things, and you got to take them that way. I try to avoid doing both within a reasonable amount of time of each other. Like, what was it? When Ready Player One was coming out as a movie, I was able to enjoy the movie a lot because it had been years since I had read the book. Now, if I had just read the book, I don't think I would have liked the movie because I would have been constantly comparing things.
Fair
That's just me.
enough. Alrighty, there's also a note there in the discussion about talking about Guardian modules, weapons, and SLFs. What do you guys like and hate about those?
We need to make that another episode.
Oh, we do?
That's a whole.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole large topic. What do you
We'll
guys
save
think?
that little teaser for everyone else then.
Future episode. I've never used any Guardian modules at all. So
You should. They're fun.
useless here.
Well, frameship booster, right?
Nope.
Right?
Really?
Oh,
Nope.
really?
Yeah,
nope.
this
How do you
guy's
do
just
that?
out here raw dogging space.
God, you went exploring without that? That is raw dogging.
Do it with my DBX, baby. Come on.
My DBX
Ooh,
jumps almost 70 light years.
Yeah, but then you feel so freaking slow. I hate the DBX as an explorer.
You get up, you get
Does
yourself
feel
another
slow.
drink.
I agree.
I also had an extra fuel tank on mine. It took forever. to fill
Oh
my
my
fuel tank.
God. Did you roast marshmallows while doing it?
Well, I had to bring the extra fuel tank because I got so in love with SCO. But the DBX and SCO might as well just not even
Oh
have
my
a fuel
God.
tank.
Yeah,
So I had to
Scout
add-
holes in your
Yeah.
tank. Just vent fuel into space.
Yeah,
Exactly.
basically. It's not an afterburner at that point. You're literally just throwing fuel out the window to make your ship lighter so it goes faster.
Man, at a certain point, you're facing the other way too in SCO. Like you're
Yeah.
being fucked around so much, it's just face the other way.
That's Mandalay
Brilliant.
has ruined every other ship for exploring for me forever.
Yeah.
For community corner, I don't think we've got anything big to discuss, but I will say, Oblivious mentioned it earlier. I should have mentioned it earlier. We did have a wonderful impromptu PowerPlay / BGS bounty hunting event, kind of an NLTT 2969 this week. The reason I mention that is because we had, I don't think we had anybody in voice chat. I was doing something else, talking to somebody else when I saw Oblivious was hunting in, I believe, the same system. I think you were in Miola or NLTT 2969.
Well, that's where I started, and then I jumped over to NLTT. Yeah.
Yeah, so I spot you over there. I said, "Oh, all right. Well, Oblivious is online. I'm going to go jump into voice chat," and then I think we just had 6 or 8 people jump in. We had, I don't know, a couple hours just doing the megaship scenarios, which if you guys haven't done those or aren't familiar with them, you can find hauler megaships in boom state systems where the controlling faction is in boom state. They will most likely spawn scenarios, and you can just sit there, beat the scenario, kill those ships, and it'll just respawn another scenario. Don't have to jump out like a CZ or anything like that. You just sit there. And it was a pretty fun time. I do wish that they were just a little bit more difficult, just a tad bit. I think it's nice to get a lot of the newer guys in there.
Told you, turn half your guns off.
I'll beat you with
Your
a hand
shield.
tied behind my back.
Come on, man.
And all of this is a very long but awesome way of saying if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. We have fun.
That's it. That is it. You never know when something's going to pop up. We're definitely going to have
Link
an
in our
event
show.
up. So yeah, absolutely. Come and say hello.
Well, I see there's a couple people in voice chat right now. There's somebody I've never seen before in there. That's kind of crazy. Who's that person?
Yeah, they're on
VV,
there are other people.
I've said hi to them, and that's as far as I know them.
Huh. But yeah, you see people, and if you're in our Discord, you see people in voice chat, you just hop in and see what they're doing and then do it with them or not. Do your own thing and just chat.
Just
Or don't
chat, yeah.
Nobody cares.
We're space buddies. That's how it works. Alrighty. Well, any of y'all have anything? All y'all?
Too many
I
y'all.
think I had a stroke. I don't know what that was.
Um,
Am I dying? What's happening?
I don't know.
big one.
But so wait, so now next week you're going to talk about Guardian modules?
Next week we are going to go over Guardian modules.
Are we
All that.
saying like tune in next week to see what we're going to actually talk about?
Tune in next week for glowing blue things.
Huh. All right.
Oh, that's good. Maybe.
That
I mean,
sounds
we'll
preparing.
probably end up getting a big missile correction from tracks next week.
I'm just
Maybe not.
wondering, kept hearing him say Jesus in my head over and over and over again.
No, honestly, missiles are pretty straightforward. I probably missed some things, but it's just
Usually
one of those
fly
things.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Hey, when
Unless
we
they're
did
backhoes,
the when we talked about shields, what it was about 5 episodes back, did we talk about Guardian shields in that module? Shield modules in that one?
We did not, and we will cover that
Definitely.
next week.
Yeah. I think
Teaser.
that'll be a good one. That question has come up a few times. Okay.
Between now and next week, I want to make a ship that uses all the Guardian tech modules I absolutely can, just to see. Just see how it does.
See, I've
course
said
you
in the
do.
past, I wanted to play, headcanon for myself where I don't have any Guardian stuff on my ships ever because I'm afraid that Guardian AI will take over my ship at some point. And I'd love if FDev did something like that at some point. Salvation came back and any ship with a Guardian module, all of a sudden you blew up or something crazy like that. But the Guardian frameshift booster is so good, I just could never bring myself to not have any Guardian modules on my ship. So.
Salvation wouldn't make the ship blow up. He'd just make it give him credits or something. He's only interested in Argoids and Psychic.
When we were fighting there, would you rather had me blow you up and then pay you credits? Because I said that, if somebody blew me up, I'd give them $1 billion. If they blew me up, they'd get $1 billion. And if I blew them up, I'd give them $500 million. But
no, it's fine.
I was $1 billion. Now you got to give $1 billion now, whether you blow me up or not.
The reason I came out with my scout is I was trying to gauge just how hard the fight would be, and wow, should I not have come out there in my scout? That's what I learned.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but you could have gotten $1 billion credits if I blew you up.
If I really wanted it, I'd come back in my T10.
Okay.
Done this.
That'd be fun. That would actually be a fun fight.
Yeah, we'll have to actually try that sometime outside of air quote hunting you just to see, because I'm curious too.
Yeah, I'd like to do it in an asteroid field. Would be funner though, so I can really play with you. But
go in and out, yeah, let's do it.
But in wide open space, that's okay too, because the Type 10 turns very slowly.
It is not as bad as the T9.
No, I love my T9.
Not as bad as the T9.
And every ship turns decently if you can boost turn and you really get a hand on what you're doing and your FA off and you've got a ton of practice.
Alrighty. Well, anyways, if no one's got anything else, let us put a bow on this thing.
And let's go shoot missiles at mimes.
Let's go, yes, and let's not have Lark have another stroke. So if you want to reach us, check us out at loosescrews.com. That's loosescrewsed.com. The link to our Discord is there, and we would love it if you join. You can also support us on Patreon. All of the money that goes to Patreon goes right back into the community in the form of events and winning things like mugs and sweaters and blah, blah, blah. So for myself, for Commander Chig, for Baromir, for Needless Hate, and Commander Oblivious, say, where is that outro sound? Here we go.
Outro sound.
I know what I'm doing. Shut up. Give me a second.
Move.
I know what I'm doing. Shut up.
Blaze it and praise it.
Blaze it and praise it.
That is the name of the show, my friends.
Bye.
See ya.